Greg Pak and Raphael Ienco join the War of the Bounty Hunters as Darth Vader and Ochi of Bestoon track a group of droid hunters into Hutt Space to locate Boba Fett and Han Solo, but their journey puts them in the crosshairs of IG-88. Greg Pak wonderfully continues building his Vader storyline and organically fitting it into the War of the Bounty Hunters event, leading it to a very satisfying continuation of both story events. I loved exploring more of Vader's justification for hunting down Han, with Han being the one he wants to hurt, and in turn hurt his son. I also love the slight jealousy angle that the book is kind of going for here, with him realizing that when Luke came on the scene, both Palpatine and even Obi-Wan completely disregarded him in terms of him being the one who will bring balance to the Force and the one who is the chosen one, looking at Luke as sort of a new chosen one. It's a great aspect that is kind of hidden in the films in a way, but I like that this is the story that Pak is deciding to tell here as the main story. It's also a fantastic look at how the Skywalker family has been all but used and abused by the Jedi and the Sith, and the immense weight that comes with that. IG-88's brief appearance in the book was pretty action-packed and kind of fantastic, with a lot of fun references to how he's not just one droid but many, as he is able to kill himself and still be alive in another droid body. And it wonderfully ties back into the previous Vader arcs like the Mustafar arc that took place before this one, as well as Sly Moore's intent on overthrowing Vader, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to watch unfold. Raphael Ienco again let his action chops out to play, as somewhat really fun set pieces were had in this issue and some pretty stunning looking page spreads, such as Vader blocking an entire starship's turbo laser battery fire. His red tinted flashback scenes make a return in this issue, and they're definitely the highlight for me, and I love how they help signify Vader's boiled over rage and the anger and fear and hatred he has for all of these different people. Darth Vader issue 13 was another fantastic look into the dark mind of Darth Vader as he and Ochi join the War of the Bounty Hunters, perfectly mixing the big event series with the book's own plots for an action-packed and character-focused issue. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Darth Vader issue 13 finds Vader remembering the Jedi tricks, knowing when Obi-Wan says he would become more powerful if he was struck down, he was actually talking about Luke, his hope. Vader remembers battling his son again on Bespin and Palpatine's words about Skywalker being a great asset as he sees everything now, and all their eyes turn from him, the chosen one, to his son Luke. He knows that people like Sly Moore and Mas Amedda think that they see his end, but he endured Palpatine's trials and he is more powerful than ever, so he will find their hope and he will kill it. In the lair of Boku the Hutt, Vader finishes off the Gamorrean guards as Ochi says that if the Hutt won't deal with Vader, Vader will deal with him. Boku is quick to apologize for not recognizing Vader, telling him that Boba Fett lost Solo, but Ochi knows that Jabba must be looking for him. Boku says that Jabba leads the Hutt Council and Boku will never betray his people, but Ochi reminds him that he is meant to be a gangster and he should be ready to stab Jabba in the face and take control of the council himself. Boku explains that Jabba put a bounty on Fett and they have been tracking the hunters who took the job, and most are heading to Fett's last location, but a crew of droids went in a different direction, telling Vader that they went to the heart of Hutt Space, and if they turn up in an Imperial shuttle, he will scare them off. Hutt offers his barge to Vader as Ochi knows that the Hutt wants a deal after all. Vader takes the barge, shutting up Boku, who lays praise all at the Dark Lord's feet, fearing that he'll be killed. Vader says that he'll be rewarded for his services to the Dark Lord as the barge is contacted by a planet's tracking, causing Boku's droid to send in their certifications. They are cleared for landing as Boku asks Ochi if Vader can be trusted since he is a Sith, but Ochi says that he's a Hutt, so he should know how this works, and there is no safe haven anywhere and he'll just need to find the biggest monster to stand behind until he's a big enough monster himself. Soon they land down at Z9 City 7, a droid-run pirate repair center. Ochi soon learns that the droid they are hunting is Crush, the one he used on Mustafar to hunt Vader, and now they don't know what they are in for. Boarding the shuttle, Vader and Ochi heads down to the city as they pick up a lot of chatter on the radios, knowing that the droids are slicing signals looking for any sign of Solo, but Boku can't unscramble them. Ochi plans on asking them in person, blasting the city when suddenly their ship's instruments explode, causing them to crash. Boku asks what happened, learning learning from his droid that a slicer got into the ship's systems and shut down the engines, which he thinks is impossible since Imperial shuttles have the most secure systems. Crush and his droids assault Ochi and Vader at the wreckage, but they manage to escape the crash as Ochi says that he's working with Vader now since they blew their chance to kill him on Mustafar, so he picked the winning side. Crush thinks that he picked wrong as IG-88 opens fire, detailing his weapons loadout as Ochi is blasted by his armor piercer. Vader blocks the assassin droid's blaster bolts as the droid says that Vader recently suffered some structural compromise, envisioning an enjoyable outcome for this. Vader knows that the droid cannot defeat him, but IG-88 knows that that is just an opinion, and while Vader was damaged by his master, he is not. Vader says the droid only continues to live since he has information the Sith needs, demanding he lay down his weapons, but IG-88 knows that they will only get the info from his dead body. Vader is pleased with that, cutting the droid's arm off with his lightsaber as IG-88 activates a control device which disrupts Vader's suit, freezing him in place. Ochi watches on from some rubble, but his movement makes him the droid's next target. IG-88 tells Vader he now controls him despite how impressive his parts were. Boku's droid knows that that's impossible since Vader's suit should have been more impervious to slicing. Vader is forced to hold his own lightsaber to his own throat by IG-88, who wants to take off his head. Boku's droid asks if they can begin their aerial bombardment from the barge, and Boku wants to hold back just a little bit as Vader demands to know who gave IG-88 the code to his armor. IG-88 says he cannot divulge that sensitive information, only that as long as he holds the controller, Vader is his. The controller is suddenly yanked from his hand by Vader, who uses the Force, quickly turning it off. Still using the Force, Vader makes the droid pull its blaster from its belt, blowing its own head off. Crush appears, leading a charge with his remaining droids against Vader as Boku orders the bombardment to begin. The turbo lasers fire, but Vader blocks the immense blast with his lightsaber as Ochi demands that Crush tell him where Solo is. Crush, however, manages to escape on a skiff, saying that he'll kill them all next time. Ochi tells Vader that they can catch up to him, but they'll just need to rebuild their shuttle wing. Vader, however, grabs IG-88's chopped off limb, taking it to the droid city's terminals where he uses it to access IG-88's personal information. Ochi knows that most of the info are just dead ends, but then he spots something that isn't, knowing that the symbol on the screen is Crimson Dawn's. Heading back to the barge, Boku welcomes Vader back with open arms, pleased that he had a small role in assisting him. Vader puts the saber to his throat, saying that the Hutt planned to betray him from the beginning, and yet he is still here when he could have run away. He wants to know what the Hutt has learned, so Boku says that he knows that Vader cannot be defeated. Ochi thinks the Hutt gave him a good answer as Vader puts away the saber. Later on Coruscant, IG-88 in a new body lands at an estate, where a being says that he failed, but the droid says that they claimed Vader was compromised. The being says that he was vulnerable, and gave the droid everything he needed to exploit that. IG-88 goes through some gates, saying that Vader is strong and no one can defeat him. The being knows that since against him they are each nothing, but he could grow more powerful than the Emperor and still only kill them one at a time. The being is revealed to be Sly Moore, who says that she is just another cipher in the dark, but if her and her council stand together, they could be more powerful than Palpatine and Vader could possibly imagine.